Hello, it is I, once again, the Bruce Wayne of Azure Lane, back at it again for yet another Azure Lane video. And the Japanese anniversary stream was litty, by the way. So, as you can see, uh, the UR ship is IJN Unzen. And I thought I would just go over the ships and some of the history of the ships, but over the event in general, because people were wanting to know the history of these ships. So this is the UR, the crown jewel of this event, IJN Unzen. Now, some of you were wondering in the Discord, what is an IJN Unzen? Um, so if you go over to, well, I actually found one of the best places that has a good reference to the ship is actually in the World of Warships forum. So keep in mind, the IJN Unzen, it was a cruiser that was ordered but never built. And it was supposed to be the Japanese cruiser of cruisers. It would have been the largest heavy cruiser in the Pacific. And it was going to have four triple 203 millimeter heavy cruiser guns. But the best actual sum up is right here in this forum. This is a better way of summing up exactly what this cruiser was supposed to be. So this guy who wrote in the forum, actually, let me look up this guy's name. Evil, I think that is. I would like to thank this guy. He basically said that this ship was part of the Circle 6 Naval Rearming Program, and it was the 1941 Type A cruiser. Basically, the Japanese Navy went to the design boards and just outright said, right then, you silly designers, give us a super cruiser that can flex to any situation, ranging from flotilla leader to basic heavy cruiser duties, because in the decisive battle, it shall be our linchpin. It must be able to take punishment from 8-inch guns, the deck being capable of eating a 500-pound bomb, and can run at 35 knots maximum, and has 12 203 millimeter guns to boot. Actually, eating 500-pound bombs, excuse me. So, this cruiser, and this is a rough sketch of what it would have looked like. It looks like an absolute upgrade over the Takeo and the Tone class. It's supposed to be insanely large, insanely heavily armed, and insanely durable and fast. So, at least for a cruiser. So this was meant to be a do-it-all heavy cruiser. It was never built, but had it been built, it would have been spectacular. So, and one fun fact is we are also getting the triple 203 millimeter gun. If I could scroll down here and you could see it as a UR piece of gear for this event. So I'm excited for this gun, really. And now moving on to the next ship, which is, I believe her name is pronounced Owari. So she was a key class battleship. So she was planned but never built. And this is Key's sister. So as you can see here, if you go to the wiki for the Key class battleship, you will see two of the ships were ordered on 12th of October 1921. Two more were ordered later that year. The only two that were given names were Key and Owari. And Owari's construction was allocated to the Yosuka Naval Arsenal in Yosuka, with completion supposed to be in September. However, the ship's keel was stopped in 5th of February because the terms of the Washington Naval Treaty forbade construction of all battleships over 35,000 long tons. So her construction was started but never completed, and it was cut off in the early design stages. So now we go to the next ship from this event, which is Hatsuzuki. So if you go to Hatsuzuki's wiki page, you will see that Hatsuzuki was an Akatsuki class destroyer. I have to say, she has one of the worst possible fates of any destroyer ever. So imagine this. Imagine you're Hatsuzuki and you're cruising along preparing for the Japanese attack on the Allied forces supporting the invasion of Leyte, when during the battle off Cape Engano, you encounter a detachment of Halsey's Task Force 34 consisting of 4 cruisers: USS New Orleans, the heavy cruiser, USS Wichita, the other heavy cruiser, and then 2 Cleveland classes, USS Santa Fe and USS Mobile, and at least 9 destroyers. Hot Suzuki single-handedly faced off against this overwhelming force for the next 2 hours while covering the escape of survivors of the aircraft carriers Zuikaku, Zuiho, and Chitose by the destroyers Wakatsuki, Kuwa, and the light cruiser Isuzu, and eventually exploding and sinking at 20:59. Only survivors of her crew were 8 men in a lifeboat with 17 of Zuikaku's crewmen who made their way to Luzon. Now, keep in mind, she had, let me see this. Yeah, total crew complement of 263 men. So she ran into an overwhelming force that tore her to pieces and resulted in only 8 survivors. So, yeah, one of the worst possible endings for a destroyer in the entire history of World War II. Damn, Hot Suzuki. Yeah. So, moving on to the next ship, and that is the light cruiser. I'm not going to have her up on the screen for long. Notori, and Notori actually has a ridiculous long career, which, yeah, I'll just get right into it. So, Notori was a Nagara-class light cruiser and was built to be a flotilla leader for destroyers. So basically, one time she got attacked by B-17 flying fortresses. She was damaged escorting the destroyer Harukaze with near misses. And then later on, she ferried 27 transports to the island and a tank regiment to Lingayen Gulf in late December of 1941 during the early stages of the war. Now, then you get to the Battle of Sundai Strait, in which she participated in this battle with a handful of destroyers, and she had to engage the heavy cruiser USS Houston, and this is old USS Houston, the Northampton class, and the light cruiser HMAS Perth. So this resulted in a very long engagement that resulted in the Japanese firing 90 torpedoes, which is ridiculous. So Notori and her destroyers basically engaged. They opened fire on the Allied forces, and then right around, where was I at? Not that one. Okay. I read this. This is a lot of reading. Okay, so they keep in mind, this is kind of one of the points of this battle that was kind of bad, at least for the Japanese anyway. So Mogami fired 6 long lances at Houston, and this is one of the worst friendly fire incidences for Japan because they missed but hit the army transports Sakura Maru, Horai Maru, Tatsuno Maru, and the commander-in-chief of the invading Japanese 16th Army, Hitoshi Imamura's transport Ryujo Maru. So this actually was an engagement that ended up going sort of horrible for both sides because although they wounded these transports pretty bad, they did actually manage to sink USS Houston and HMAS Perth. But if you go further on, what you'll find is Notori was also hunted by submarines relentlessly. Like in terms of, dodging submarines, if there was ever a reward or like, a medal, she would have got the medal for, probably one of the, the championship ship of dodging submarines for as long as possible. So Notori was assigned to the 16th Cruiser Division, with Nagara, and participated in the Battle of Christmas Island. And during the battle, the submarine USS Seawolf fired 3 torpedoes at Notori, but they all missed. The cruiser Naka, which was hit on the starboard side near her number 1 boiler, was not so lucky and had to be towed back to Bantam Bay by Notori. So in April, Notori was assigned to the patrols of the Java Sea, which continued into June after her refitting back at Maizuru. So you scroll on further here, and what you'll find is on 9th of January 1943, 18 nautical miles off southeast of Amba, Notori was sighted by the submarine USS Tautog. And about 3,000 yards, Tautog fired 2 torpedoes, which hit Notori in the stern. It broke off and carried away her rudder. In the next few minutes, as Notori got underway at reduced speed, Tautog fired 2 more torpedoes, but they either missed or were duds, and Notori managed to escape. So further on, Notori was damaged by a near miss on the starboard side from a bomb from a B-24 Liberator. The bomb exploded and caused some damage to her number 2 boiler room. So, where is the next time she gets attacked by a submarine? Oh, yeah, they installed hydrophones on her bow, by the way, after her submarine is two submarine attacks. So, anyway, she then participates in the Battle of the Philippine Sea and serves as a guard ship. So on 20th July 1944, the submarine USS Bluegill, patrolling off Davao, spotted Notori, making 26 knots, and was unable to gain a favorable firing position. Notori arrived in Palu on the 21st of January 1944 to help evacuate 800 Japanese and Korean, those women, comfort women. I'll say no more about that. 18th August 1944, 200 nautical miles off the southeast of Samar, Notori was accompanying a transport T3 to Palu when she was spotted by yet another submarine, USS Hardhead, east of San Bernardino Strait. Hardhead identified the targeted ship as a battleship closed to a surface attack. 1 torpedo of its first salvo of 5 Mark 23 torpedoes hit Notori port side in a boiler room. She stopped dead in the water and was hit starboard side amidships with one of a second salvo of 4 Mark 18 torpedoes. So Notori finally sank. And then, ironically, after all this, her survivors were picked up by 2 destroyers and another USS submarine. And almost a month after her sinking, the USS Marshall captured a lifeboat with 44 survivors from her later. But yeah, so submarine dodging Olympics. Somewhere she's in that category. Poor Notori. Anyway, moving on to the next ship, which is IJN Asanagi. I hope I get these names right. So Asanagi was a destroyer of the Kamikaze class. And during the Pacific, she participated in a lot of utility operations. But however, so in 1944, Asanagi escorted numerous convoys between Yokosuka, and eventually she was found by the USS submarine Polak, where she was hit and sunk. And I gotta say, that's a rough way to go. Yeah, submarines during the latter parts of the war, submarines were doing work. So Asanagi, she did a lot of real groundwork when it came to the Japanese Navy's needs, but yeah, got hit and nailed by a torpedo. Tragic. Anyway, a ship I'm excited for that we're also getting from this event is USS Houston, the Cleveland class light cruiser, and I've been itching to get a new Cleveland. So USS Houston actually had an interesting career because she was introduced in the latter half of the war. However, she ended up getting a really good hit on a shore bombardment that targeted Guam and Rota. And during the bombardment, she destroyed 10 aircraft, the airstrip they occupied, and a radar installation all in one go, which was pretty damn good shooting techs, if I do say so myself, which I do. And then later on, she participated in the Formosa air battle, and she was downed 4 aircraft. However, during this battle, she was hit with a Japanese torpedo in one of her engine rooms, and it caused very serious damage. So the hull flooded all 4 machinery spaces, which disabled power aboard the ship. The torpedo from the starboard side, or the torpedo had hit from the starboard side while Houston was turning right. So it hit at the lower part of her hull, and that's a very bad spot to get hit. Damage control teams actually did manage to get her under control. So she was later getting towed by the heavy cruiser Boston. So Boston took her under tow, trying to take her back. And during this, while this happened, she got hit by a second torpedo. And the second torpedo actually hit another crucial part of her. So the explosion set fire in the starboard tank that held fuel for the ship's reconnaissance float planes, causing a major fire in the aircraft hangar. And though the remaining crew suppressed the blaze within 15 minutes, flooding from this hit denigrated the ship's buoyancy and stability further. And she had to have basically her skeleton crew completely also reduced to leaving just 200 people aboard, including the captain. So Houston, a heavy slugger. She can take a hit and keep on ticking. My goodness. But I am really excited for this. This is actually the most excited ship this is what I'm most excited for. And she's only an SR ship. I'm like, we get Houston, another cruiser, another Cleveland class. As you know, the Cleveland classes are my favorite. Biloxi is still top tier waifu though. So Houston doesn't surpass Biloxi in that regard. Just an important thing to note. Anyway, so these are the ships right here. And then what was I also going to take a look at? Oh, so this is what I was going to say. So we get swimsuits. I am not going to show you any of the other swimsuits except for 3 because I like my channel and I don't want to lose it. So this is Battleship Owari's swimsuit. And for those of you into dark chocolate, today's your day because you got a hot succubus Gairu on a floating inflatable bed on a pool. I mean, I love hot chocolate served on marshmallows. And it does look like she's floating on a giant marshmallow, kind of. Anyway, yeah, I gotta say, her stern in particular is quite overwhelming. It looks like it could crush a poor Shiki-Khan's face if it mysteriously happened to land on his face. I'm just saying. And now I will scroll really fast. Boom. There we go. So you get a live 2D skin for Hakuryu. And this is actually my favorite skin out of this event that we have been introduced. If you'll notice, I think the 2D animation has gotten more advanced. I'm wondering if they're starting to mix some AI into the live 2D animation, because I'll just say the jiggle effects of Hakuryu's chest armor is, let's just say, extremely captivating in a way that surpasses anything I have seen from any other L2D so far. And then Kashino is also getting another live 2D skin, which is quite voluptuous, curvaceous, welcome into a very strong brand of the Azur Lane community. I don't know why, but I'm thinking of milk. Moving on to the next things we get from this event. So we get a bunch of new skins, actually. We get this one for, oh my god, I'm forgetting her name. Sorry, that Kashino skin, sort of, that Kashino and the Hakuryu skin is not doing any good things for my memory right now. Argus, that's right. And then we got Prince of Wales also got another skin. This is, in my opinion, the second best skin after Hakuryu's skin. And then Sakawa got a very nice black dress. And Z23 also has a very nice dress. By the way, where was I at? This swimsuit skin for Uzin is, what's the word I'm looking for? Overweight in terms of gross tonnage of a ship. I'll just say, Unzin's gross tonnage is off the scales, as well as Shinano's skin. Yeah, that skin actually I might want to hide for a bit. Let's see. My other favorite skin is this skin for Ulrich von Utten, who I tragically do not have because I missed her from the event. But I really like her Race Queen skin. This is a very solid Race Queen skin. And I also like the fact that she has that, like, I don't know. I really appreciate this level of, let's say, ship dimensions. This is a very happy spot of ship dimensions. So, furthermore, we're getting some reruns of all these skins right here. So if you missed out on any of these, now's your time to get them. Yeah, rerun skins, lots of Race Queen skins. We are also getting the Udachi retrofit item, which when it comes to the power curve, I gotta say she was the fastest UR ship to get overtaken by the power curve. So, I mean, she's still a good ship. I don't see necessarily a reason to use her over several other ships, though. This ship, whose name is escaping me right now, is getting a retrofit. Dang it. Okay, this is I wish I could read Japanese right now, but we get one retrofit for this cruiser. And then Lutzao gets an oath skin. It's actually a very wholesome one. This is one of the most wholesome oath skins I think I've ever seen out of Azure Lane. Yeah. Bremerton also gets an oath skin, and her oath skin is it looks like a little less wholesome than Lutzao's skin, but still nice. And then, we're getting Princeton Meta, which is funny because this doesn't look all that much like Princeton. But Princeton Meta is coming to town. A new skin for U410, which is, it's all right. Javelin gets a skin. And then we're getting World 15 finally. And we're also getting World 13 hard mode. But just so you know, in World 15, you have to grind the last level for USS Houston. So that's what I'm going to be working on. But just so you know, World 13 hard mode is going to be an absolute plain hell. So yeah, get your Essex and your San Diego ready, because this is probably going to be one of the worst plain hells in the entire history of the Azure Lane game. Anyway, that's pretty much the 5th anniversary event. I'm going to be happy to participate in this event. And like I said, the ship I'm most excited for out of all this news is actually USS Houston, who is only an SR, but I love me another Cleveland. So I'll be happy to have one. I guess that is all I got for you today, guys. As always, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. And I'd like to wish all you Shikikons a farewell and following seas. Take it easy, guys.